Utare Shri Vinanta Swami Namaste Visesh Shunyamadi Paschanti Deshatarani Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gauramitri Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Today Balaram Shakti Prabhu is traveling, so we will not have first session. We'll directly discuss Prabhupada purport session. Right. Here we didn't discuss this purport, we just read it. So we'll just go through this. This is also very important purport. Prabhupada gave very important points in them. This in this the Lord who can distinctly see the minds of others, pursues Brahma's distant said, cast off this impure body of yours, thus commanded by Lord Brahma cast off his body. So here the Brahma is creating and he's casting off his bodies. There are this body, the demigods they live at more on a subtle platform. That's why we are not able to see them. Like we go to moon also, but we see some rocks and some stones and some it's just some dust and all. We don't see the heavenly beings. Why we are not able to see? Because they exist in a more subtle level. They don't exist in a very gross level. For example, there's on a mental level. Now I give example also. Say if I am telling about I told Prime Minister of India. Or simple example you take, okay, mango. Now if I said a mango, juicy mango, immediately you got an image of it in your mind. And how did this image come? This is actually at a mental level. This is Madhyam Bhag. So this stage is what is the demigod's existence. They do at a mental level. It's a much more subtler level of existence. Everything is there. It is more subtle. Subtler than what we are. Most subtlest at the Brahma level. So they more you go subtler, more the enjoyment is high also. And this is what the demigods, we don't have access. That's why when we go to moon also we cannot see them. And now here when Brahma is giving up his body, casting off his body, it is much more like that. But we'll discuss that. First we'll discuss the purport what Prabhupada is trying to highlight. The Lord is described here by the word Viftadhyatma Darshanaha. If anyone can completely perceive one's distress without doubt, it is the Lord Himself. If someone is in distress and want to get relief from his friend, sometimes it so happened that his friend does not appreciate the volume of distress he is suffering. It's very nice point Prabhupada is making that sometimes they will not be appreciated. This person is too much suffering. No, they keep distance from them. They don't want so much suffering and they cannot do also much. That is another thing. One is they keep distance because of seeing that I have to give so much of my things to him to get to help him come out. Second thing is he don't have that much capacity also to support. But for the Supreme Lord, it is not difficult. That's why Krishna is only Suhrit and Vivekta Adhyatma Darshana. He can understand, perceive another's distress without doubt. He is Dina Bandhu, one who is in distress. He is his relative. This is also another understanding. But for the Supreme Lord, it is not difficult. The Supreme Lord, as Paramatma, is sitting within the heart of every living entity and is directly perceives the exact cause of distress. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord says, Sarvasya chaham hridhi sannivishto I am sitting in everyone's heart, and because of me, one's remembrance and forgetfulness occurs. Thus, whenever one fully surrenders unto the Supreme Lord, one finds that he is sitting within one's heart. He can give us direction how to get out of dangers or how to approach him in devotional service. The Lord, however, asked Brahma to give up his present body because it has created the demonic principles. So from here, Prabhupada starts speaking another point. But the first point is very clear. Only person who can understand our distress and help or support or whatever is only one, the Supreme Lord only. Nobody can really appreciate and understand what we are going through. He is the one who can really, and now he can really help also. Many of the help, it's like say I'm going through financial crisis, my mind is in so much stress. Lord will not just giving money, but he can help us to change our state of mind, which is more important. It is what is the cause of suffering is not the external situation. Actually, external situations to some extent is cause of suffering, but more is because of the mental state. And Lord, by taking shelter of Lord, we can change our mental state and we can be freed from suffering. External pain is there, some body has some problems and we get pain. That is one level. But more is we want to get rid of mental suffering. Any of these devotees who are going through some very advanced devotees, they may be going in excruciating pain in cancer. But because mind is in a very healthy state, for them, they are able healthy state basically means they are able to take shelter of Krishna. They are fine with that pain also. They said, okay, it's okay. Krishna wanted, I am okay. And they are no more complaining and no more in how this is developed, very important, try to understand. This state comes where we are able to get rid from all this pain and all. I will just add. So what is important for us is absorption. So this is the most important thing that is needed for us to mm, free to get out of this world also. We have to be absorbed. Even materially, if we are absorbed, now we can experience pleasure that we have discussed. Anything you do to very great absorption, we experience pleasure, even material also. But material pleasure is temporary. But if I want to experience the pleasure of holy name, I should get absorbed in the holy name. Then only the pleasure can be experienced. If we are doing just superficially, we have to complete our rounds, then we may not get that experience, that pleasure. As long as we are continuing doing for completing our rounds, there is no chance that we can experience the pleasure in holy name, taste in holy, not pleasure, we can say taste. For everything, any like say music or dance, or you are playing some instrument or any other field, if there is this degree, if we have to go deeper to experience taste. So this is most important principle. Now for holy name is also same thing. If I want to experience taste in holy name, I have to go deeper in the holy name. Means chant more and more and more and more and more like that. And then what happens? Then when we go through some pain or anything, then this absorption helps. And if it is material thing, it will be very minimal benefit. Like say somebody is going through some mental distress and he's going and he's playing his instrument. He's just getting absorbed in instrument. So it gives some relief because you'll forget that you are absorbed in you are playing of instrument something. But same thing if I am absorbed in holy name, that is going to give knowledge and detachment also. That is the advantage. Jnana and Vairagya, they are like two feathers of a bird. We need both, Jnana and Vairagya. And by Bhakti, both will come automatically. Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janat Asu Vairagyam Jnanam Chedayati. Like that. Anyway, that is separate point. The point I want to tell is like by getting absorption, we are able to get, we are able to free ourselves. Now, here I wanted to share some like any activity we are doing. Say now I am uh, reading this Bhagavatam. If I am absorbed in this Bhagavatam, then only I can get taste in Bhagavatam. I should be very, very attentive what is there in this. Then I can experience the taste of Bhagavatam. It is applicable to all. If I am doing some service to the Lord deity, I am trying to dress the deity and do some service to the deity, I should be fully absorbed in that service. It's for Krishna. I should really feel for it. I'm doing it for Krishna. I should put my heart, like we have one very famous lecture of Radhana Swami Maharaj. Put your heart in doing service. That means every activity we should do with our heart, fully aware and fully conscious. Then that is absorption. That is going to make so much difference in the life. You have to, every small activity, say now if somebody is cooking or somebody is chanting, somebody, we have to do with our heart. It's 100% involvement. That is the secret of success. It is, I'm doing it for Lord. How much careful I should be. That's how we should, the thought process should go. No, I should be a little more careful. I should be a little more careful. And we have to put our all 100%. Every activity connected to Lord, if we are putting 100%, then all activities will put 100%. In that way, we are perfect. This is the most important aspect. We have to give our heart into what activity we are doing. Now we are reading Bhagavatam. We'll give 100% and try to understand. Anyway, I had to spend time. So better do it with, this time is going for this. So better put your all our 100% doing. That is all. So it is applicable in all situations. And that will help. Here then there is another principle that is discussed here. According to Sridhar Swami, Brahma's constant dropping of his body does not refer to his actual giving up his body, rather, it's just that Brahma gave up the particular mentality. So, this we have discussed. So, what it means is that is a subtler. Mind is a subtle body of living entity. We may sometimes be absorbed in some thought which is sinful, but if we give up the sinful thought, it may be said that we gave up the body. Brahma's mind was not in correct order when he created the demons. It must have been full of passion because the entire creation was passionate. Therefore, such passionate sons were born. It follows that any father and mother should also be careful while begetting children. The mental condition of a child depends upon the mental status of his parent at the time of conceived, at the time he is conceived. According to Vedic system, therefore, the Garbhadan Samskara or the ceremony for giving birth to a child is observed. Before begetting a child, one has to sanctify his perplexed mind. When the parents engage their mind in the lotus feet of Lord in such a state, the child is born. Naturally, good devotee children come. When the society is full of such good population, there is no trouble from demonic mentalities. Now, what happens is it's not just sometimes people read or hear, it is how much they are absorbed in that activity that makes even the child is in the womb or they are planning to have children. They think if I read Bhagavatam every day, that is okay. If I read Ramayana, because the child is in the womb, I have to read Ramayana, I have to read Bhagavatam. It is not just reading, it's get absorption because the impressions goes deeper the more we are absorbed. So before that first point where it is said, the mentality is actually what is destroyed. When Brahma is giving up his body, what is he giving up? He is giving up the mentality. That is the most important thing. I told no, it's a subtler body he is giving up. Of course, for Brahma, it's much more subtler. In subtle also, there are much different degrees, subtler and subtler. The demigod level is like that. We don't have access, and even the twilight and other things, we cannot understand what is how it is. Means like time and all. It's much subtle. Now, second thing is Brahma gave up that. Second is here, it is at the time of conception, how the child is conceived. So, and this is also having a direct effect. What is the effect? Effect on mind only. Now, what environment we have, it affects our what is affected is mind is affected all the time. We have to. This is the main problem. All the karma is here, results are here, and further actions are here. All are in the mind. Of course, many more things are there. Now, any impressions by father and mother, this is getting programmed. So, mind gets programmed when the child is in the womb of mother at the time of conception. The more the mother is absorbed in any activity, it is programming the mind of the child. If the child is doing wrong, responsibilities of parents only. Why they say parents are responsible? Because their programming they did wrong with. That's why they say parents are responsible if the children are doing wrong. They don't blame the child. Why? Because they did wrong programming. And they cannot say why my child is like that. Yeah, because you didn't work hard. If you work hard when the child is very small, until the age of 5, there is he can be completely programmed. Of course, now they will complain that from the age of 2 only he does not listen. What to speak of age of 5? He is demoniac from the age of 2. But still, not sometime they are from the birth only they are like that. They cry so much, they don't allow anybody to sleep. That is because before the activity, at the time of conception only, the state of mind is wrong. That is the main thing. Whatever state of mind, we attract that. And that is the programming that is done. And that's what it is. It's all science. It's not, nothing is happening by chance. And everything is a react. It's a product of reaction. Action, reaction. Of course, it's a very complicated reaction. But everything that we get in life, every situation is a reaction only. It's not by chance. We have done it and we have to pay it. If some situation is coming like this, there is some cause behind it. And what is the cause? Our own action. Here also same. So we cannot. Here the system is very scientific. Brahma, he understood. Oh, he got into passion. Of course, Brahma has to create them every day. He gets up. Every day he has to create. All the species every day he's creating. He's experiencing so much pleasure, but the payment is also there for him. There is so much crisis also for him. Like that. We see here next loka. The body given by Brahma took the form of evening twilight. Now, what is the difference? Daylight, morning light, twilight. But there is some specific thing. It's not just all one. It's okay, some evening time. When the day and night meets, a time which kindles passion. The asuras, who are passionate by nature, dominate as dominated as they are by the element of rajas, took it for a damsel, whose lotus feet resounding with the twinkling of angles, whose eyes were wide with intoxication and whose hips were covered with fine clothes over which shone a griddle. Prabhupada writes, as early morning is a period for spiritual cultivation, the beginning of evening is the period of passion. Demonic men are generally very fond of sex enjoyment. Therefore, they very much appreciate the approach of evening. The demons took the approach of evening light to be a beautiful woman, and they began to adore her in various ways. They imagined that Twilight to be a very beautiful woman, with twinkling bangles on her feet, a girdle on her hips, and a beautiful breast. And for their sexual satisfaction, they imagined the appearance of this beautiful girl before them. What happens is the time gives strength. That's why they want to do. And say in the daytime, morning, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, this type of passion don't appear because this passion is mixed with little goodness. People cannot grossly enjoy that time. They really want evening times because they want to do parties, they want to eat forbidden food, they want to enjoy with man woman relation. All these things evening because that has that strength. Morning time has strength of Satuguna, which is our strength. We have to try to utilize as much as possible in the morning time. And here we see that this type of satisfaction that is very much possible in the evenings, and uh, the hotels are filled with all these people, very passionate people. We have to know that the enjoyment is there. Definitely, enjoyment is there. We cannot deny that. But what is the point? The enjoyment has beginning and end. That type of enjoyment is there. And whereas morning when we wake up, it is quite bitter in the beginning. But the enjoyment which we get is very gradual and it does not go down. That is the advantage. Like I told I went to meet my classmates after right, after more than 2 decades. And I saw all of them, they are eating non-veg and they are drinking alcohol as only fellow. And we were up and I was down. And then daytime they were down, I was up because I didn't want to be with them and they are doing all nonsense. Now, what I was understanding that they are enjoying, but the point of their enjoyment is it has a beginning and end. When they started, they enjoyed, and when they completed, the enjoyment is gone. But when we sit and chant, and when we then we are able to appreciate the nature around. We were at a farm. I was thinking, oh, this is such a nice. It's constant. I don't have to pay for it. I was just chanting, and I that day I took only fruit juices, not even fruit juice. Now I was thinking, oh, this is a real type. It is much better enjoyment. I was constantly happy. There is no beginning end because the whole position which we are itself is happiness. I don't have to have anything extra to be happy there because it does not have beginning end. It has because material pleasure has beginning end, but it is constant. Everybody saying you're okay. I said I'm very fine. I was more happy that Prabhupada saved me from all this nonsense. That was first happiness. Second happiness is I was thinking I am saved from all this. No, I had to. I don't have to struggle very hard. There, all these fellows are struggling very hard, even though they're in good positions, but there is so much struggle. That was another happiness. I was saved from all bad habits. First happiness. So that itself is happiness. People are not understanding only. They think I had to, and then some of them they couldn't come in the night. They said, "Oh, we missed." I told, "No, you didn't miss anything." What they are thinking enjoyment, they just drank and ate. That's they think they are enjoyment, but it's not enjoyment only. It's a very unfortunate situation. They don't understand because it's passion. They have beginning and end. And end is very painful. That is another thing. Passion, you experience pleasure, and end is very painful because you get separated from that pleasure. That gives pain. But if you are in mode of goodness, you don't get separated so fast from the pain. Because anywhere you are in goodness. You have very sattvic and you are very peaceful. Some basic things are needed. There is a great difference. We are now we can appreciate by Krishna's arrangement. He made me see my classmates. I become more grateful to Prabhupada and Krishna, what they have done to me. By seeing them, I could understand what I got. Otherwise, many times we take it for granted. Okay, I am fine, everything fine. They are also enjoying. I am also enjoying. No. When I saw their life, I felt first day I went in the evening and then I came back. I want to do my sadhana and all. And then one devotee told, "Arey, why are you going?" I said, next day also we are having. So why are you going? They're all doing nonsense. I said, I am feeling very sad for them. How much they are suffering. I thought if I go there and give them some book and give some knowledge, it will help. I went and I gave some journey home gift and other things. Because I felt sad for them. I didn't feel previously, maybe in the beginning, few years back, I would have felt envious that they are doing so much like this. But now I felt really very bad for them that how much they are struggling. This is actually goodness pleasure. What we get, even though I didn't eat anything, I didn't do anything, but I was very happy. This is because of mode of goodness. At least we are trying to go in that direction. Goodness is very, very high, high level. That much is, if we have really goodness, we are on the platform of demigods. But even basic minimum also is giving so much. So what to speak of other things? So the enjoyment which they get, the demonic men are generally very fond of sex enjoyment, therefore they very much appreciate the evening. The demons, this is what is the situation for them. And then they say her breast projected upwards because of their clinging to each other. And there were too contagious to admit any intervening space. She had a shapely nose and beautiful teeth, a loving smile played on her lips, and she cast a sportful glance at the Asura. So this is how they look. Like for a detached person, they look very dangerous. And for a person who is very passionate, it's very attractive. Adorned with dark trees, she hid herself, as it were, out of shyness. Upon seeing the girl, the Asuras were all infatuated with an appetite for sex. Prabhupada writes, very perfect. The difference between demons and demigods is that a beautiful woman very easily attracts the minds of a demon, but she cannot attract the mind of godly person because they don't have taste in it. A godly person is full of knowledge, and the demonic person is full of ignorance. Just as a child is attracted by a beautiful doll, similarly, a demon who is less intelligent and full of ignorance is attracted by material beauty and an appetite for sex. The godly person knows that this nicely dressed and ornamented attraction of high breasts, high hips, beautiful nose, and fair complexion is Maya. All the beauty of women can uh, displays only a combination of flesh and blood. So Shankaracharya has advised all persons not to be attracted by the interaction of flesh and blood. They should be attracted by the real beauty in spiritual life. The real beauty is Krishna and Radha. One who is attracted by the beauty of Radha and Krishna cannot be attracted by the false beauty of this material world. This is the difference between a demon and a godly person or devotee. Prabhupada gives very, very powerful. He is just a combination of flesh and blood. Then problem is this does not go just like Prabhupada is giving, but for people it does not go so easily. How it will go? With humility and a desire to serve. If this is there, then this attraction goes very low. This is manifested in different way. And the Shastra says that woman is more lusty and all. It is not just physical. There they refer to all the attachment she has. She has a more attachment to her house, children, family members, because they have the psychophysical nature. What happens is all this is considered, all this is this attachment is because we want to get rid of this attachment. We have to develop humility and service attitude. So in that way, so man has more on a physical level. He was more lusty to enjoy, but for women, it's that is also lust, but it is in a different form. It manifests. So both are there. Man also lust is there, woman also lust is there. But for us to get out of it, and that's why more instructions are given here about man attracting to woman. But for women, the attraction is more on a more of the things around. That is Sri. She expands. So that is only one aspect, but her attachment is her lust is in a different way. That's why here the instructions which you see more they are for men only because they do more mischief in this area. And then that's why you don't find that women are not told here, don't get attracted to the body of the women. That you'll not hear because their attraction is for other things. But same thing, it's all material. For us to come out of it, two forms. One is you have to cultivate humility, and second is service attitude. So when we cultivate the service attitude, we have a desire to serve Krishna, desire to please serve. This will help us to come out of that attachment. That is the only formula, and we should be humble. This humility, we don't want all the formula, Trinada Sunicina, whatever extent we follow. This will help us not to exploit, no exploitation. We don't want to exploit, we are humble, and this will also help to be prayerful. And many of them. This what happens when I'm prayerful, I go to Krishna, pray to him. He'll help me come out of this attachment. And then there is service attitude, then there is this will reduce the desire to enjoy. I may not give trouble to anybody, but I may enjoy myself. But this desire to serve will get help. And then most important, we discuss the previous also, there should be an absorption in our activities which we are doing, especially all connected to Krishna. There should be an absorption, deep absorption. So these are the things which will help us to. Otherwise, many years will pass, no change. Oh, I am doing so many, but we cannot get rid of them only because these things are not cultivated. If these three things are there, then after few years we see we are out of automatically. So without these three things, opposite immunity is this false ego. I am something special, I am this, I am that. And then there is no desire to serve only. And there is no absorption. And we can remain in bhakti, but it in a superficial. Then this appetite for all these things will the theory what happens now this theory becomes an Vedic knowledge is not this theory is only first level. Second level is an application part. Third is improvising part like that. So there are different stages in Vedic education. When we are applying now we get questions. We are not getting questions means we are not applying the knowledge. That is main reason. If we start applying now we get thousands of questions. We have to, it remains in a theoretical level. Stuff. Now, this is the service attitude, absorption, ability. We might have many times. But when you start applying, then we start getting questions. Oh, why this? How is this? What is this? This is a difference. In Vedic education is not just information. Vedic education is application. That is the main difference. When we apply, then we'll see the result. Many they don't get questions because they don't have time for application. They are passionately running. Then the demons praised her. So this is the point. The demons praised her. Oh, what a beauty. What rare self-control. What a budding youth in the midst of us all who are passionately loving for her. She's moving about like an absolutely free from passion. They have their style of purification. This is a poetry, so there is no explanation. This is what is there in the mind. Indulging in various speculations about the evening twilight, they appeared to them endowed with the form of a young woman. The wicked minded Asras treated her with respect and only spoke to her as follows. Who are you, a pretty girl? Whose wife or daughter are you? And what can be the object of your appearing? Why do you vandalize us? Unfortunate as we are, with the priceless commodity of your beauty. Prabhupada is saying, he says, the mentality of demon is being enamored with the false beauty of this metal world is expressed here. The demoniac can pay any price for the skin beauty of this metal world. They spend lakhs just for some material pleasures. And especially, this is the problem with money. People who are very rich, they have this problem. Very fortunate, there are some people, in spite of having so much money, they can uh, they can continue to remain humble. But it is not possible for everyone. They are very dharmic and all. They are really blessed. Otherwise, this is a very the blessing, real blessing is you are rich, but still you are spiritual, is religious. But here we see it is like 90% of the people who are rich, they will have bad habits. They work very hard all day and night, but the purpose of their hard work is to enjoy success. Sometimes they misrepresent themselves as karma yogis, not knowing the meaning of the word yoga. Yoga means to link up with the Supreme Personality of God or to act in Krishna consciousness. A person who works very hard, no matter what, in what occupation, and who offers the results of work to the service of Supreme Personality of God is called karma. Many of them have a wrong understanding. They say, yes, we are worshipping our work, but that is not what is recommended. It's not karma yoga only. Where is Krishna in this? Many of them, if you are working and offering result to Krishna, that is karma yoga. They need Krishna at any cost. For a devotee, they don't offer, they only do it for Krishna. That is the difference. But karma yoga, they have to offer the result. And people work very hard because their motivations are wrong. That is why they get burned. See, a very important point. When Krishna told that I want to go to Himalayas, then Krishna is telling, see, this is very important, but try to understand. You can be a right person being on a battlefield and killing people. You are a perfect. And you can be wrong person going and staying in Himalayas and doing meditation. So being meditation, you are wrong. And being on the battlefield killing people, you are right. This is what is the point here? The motivation. This is the like we need to have a proper motivation for the activity because the not the activity matters, the motivation matters. That is going to change the state of mind, and the change in mind will make a change in the position. You understand? So it's not the action, it's the motivation. Now the motivation of people, they say we are absorbed, we are detached from work, we are this, we are detached from results. So many things they will say. But what is the mistake they do? The mistake is the motivation. That is the difference. We have to protect ourselves. This is this is a very important point. People do activity, but motivation for a devotee, motivation is right. That's why he's saved. It's not. They are also acting. They also like you tell them, no, what you are doing this, we are doing karma yoga. Completely detached from result. I am just doing my thing. First thing is they are not able to get detached. Another thing is, see what is there. I am right only. I am doing my things. This is what Krishna gave me. I am doing it. But they don't understand what is the factor. Like Duryodhana is also fighting, na? Duryodhana is also fighting. Shalya is fighting. Archana is fighting. All the three are fighting. What is the difference between all these fightings? The motivation is different. And how that motivation is based on our ego. And if I identify myself, okay, I will write. Yeah, pretty clear. So actually, uh, sorry, the result is depend on result means the karmic result depend on motivation, not on action. But this motivation it depends on our identity, our ego. This is very important. Now, what type of ego I have? So if I'm identifying myself as this body, as a very intelligent person or this that, so based on that, my action will be there. Actually, action is based on identity, but in that motivation is also very important. Like say, I give example like now, as soon as the first child, the father takes the first child in the hands, immediately he starts identifying with the child. If the mother takes the child in the, they start identifying with it. This is my child. Now I have to serve the child. What you got as soon as you took the child, you got an identity. Oh, I am a father now. I am a mother now. And then action starts. So identity helps in action, also in motivation. So here you need a proper motivation. You need proper knowledge, which will help us to change our mind. Identity also need to be changed, and that also will change with knowledge only. So now we are getting knowledge and we are getting good identity. What is that? I am servant of Krishna. So we get an identity as servant of Krishna. That is the motivation for our action. So this is and this is very important that we gain proper knowledge. We are hearing every day. Why we have to hear every day 1 hour, 2 hour, 1 hour, 2 hour? Only one thing we have to hear in that. What is that? I am servant. I am servant of Krishna and Guru, and I have to please them. I have to serve them. Now, our absorption in Bhagavatam is same only. We want to get absorbed in Bhagavatam. It's a service for our Guru and Krishna. I want to serve them. That's why I want to hear nicely, to understand nicely, so that I can serve them nicely. That is the motivation. If we are reading Bhagavatam, it's a service to Bhagavatam. We should not do research on Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is a, it's not a research work. Bhagavatam is meant to receive mercy. We are not, research means I'm looking down towards Bhagavatam, but we cannot look down Bhagavatam. We have to pray from Bhagavatam that show me mercy, show me mercy. That is what is the motivation. Okay, Bhagavatam, please show me mercy so that I will be able to understand what you are. He's a person, he will reciprocate accordingly. Now, what happened now when I know Bhagavatam is a person, he reciprocates, what changed? We got once we gain the knowledge about Bhagavatam, that it's not a research work, we gain the knowledge. So now when we are reading Bhagavatam, what change? The motivation changes. So then the result also will affect your understanding. We know that Bhagavatam is meant, it's only I I should receive the mercy of Bhagavatam. And we pray to Bhagavatam. The knowledge change the motivation and the result. Action is same only. Action is of reading Bhagavatam, but the result is entirely different. You understand? This is how the system works like this. We need to gain proper knowledge. That's why hearing from proper person is very, very important because the knowledge we receive will be very, very perfect knowledge. And that's how we should go. And yeah, so I told that being in the Himalayas is sinful. Killing people in the battlefield is right. Why? The result, the motivation is the difference. Clear. Hope it is clear. I didn't confuse you. So we'll see the next purport is very big purport. Whosoever you may be, O beautiful girl, we are fortunate in being able to see you. While playing with the ball, you have agitated the minds of all onlookers. Now, Prabhupada writes very big purport. Demons arrange many kinds of performances to see the glaring beauty of a beautiful woman. Here, it is stated that they saw the girl playing with ball. Sometimes the demoniac arrange for so-called sports like tennis with the opposite sex. The purpose of such sporting is to see the bodily construction of beautiful girl and enjoy a subtle sex mentality. There's a question in the chat box. After one starts pure devotional service, then there should be ahituki apradhyata, means without motivation. Ahituki is that means the motivation should be Krishna Anushilanam. It is for the pleasure of Lord. That is the motivation. Or for the pleasure of Guru. And that's why there are uh, there is there is a motivation, but it is a spiritual motivation. Or purification of heart is also, yeah, it's not material motivation. This demonic sex mentality of material enjoyment is sometimes encouraged by so-called yogis who encourage public to enjoy sex life in different varieties and at the same time advertise that if one meditate on a certain manufactured mantra, one can become God within 6 months. The public want to be cheated and Krishna therefore creates the cheaters to misrepresents and deluded. Their so-called yoga are actually enjoys of the world grabbed as yogis. Bhagavad Gita, however, recommends that if one wants to enjoy life, then it cannot be with his gross senses. A patient is advised by the experienced physician to refrain from ordinary enjoyment while in the diseased condition. A diseased person cannot enjoy anything. He has to restrain his enjoyment in order to get rid of this disease. Similarly, our mental condition is a disease condition. If one wants to enjoy real sense enjoyment, then one must get free of the entanglement of material existence. In spiritual life, we can enjoy sense enjoyment which has no end. The difference between material and spiritual enjoyment is that material enjoyment is limited. Even if a man enjoys in material sex enjoyment, he cannot enjoy it for long. But and the sex enjoyment is given up, then one can enter spiritual life, which is unending. It is stated that Brahma Saukyam, spiritual happiness is Anantam, unending. Foolish creatures are enamored by the beauty of matter and think that enjoyment it offers is real, but actually it is not real enjoyment. This is a very nice purport Prabhupada is trying to explain that how the people are fooling by as long as we are enjoying with our body and mind, we are not enjoying any spiritual things. It is not possible. It does not happen like that. That's why we like Prabhupada is giving example of a patient is advised by physician to refrain from ordinary things. We have to refrain from this to experience something higher. That is the formula. We have to slowly try to get to a stage where we are giving up material things. So when the question comes, can devotees eat chocolate? Can devotees eat ice cream? Can devotees eat this? Can devotees eat that? So the formula is very simple. It's not question of eating or not eating. It's a question of whether I want to get spiritual experience or not. If I want to have spiritual experience, then what should I do? I should refrain from material enjoyment. Now, chocolate is for material enjoyment I am eating chocolate for satisfying my tongue, or am I eating chocolate for pleasure of Krishna? So that actually matters. If my eating chocolate or ice cream is to please Krishna and completely for his satisfaction, nothing to do with my tongue, then it should not be a problem, right? The problem is not action, I already told. The problem is not with the action. Problem is what? Motivation. That makes a difference. So whether to eat something or not is not a question. What motivation is question. And there is enjoyment in spiritual life. They say, oh, you are too starving all the senses and all. We are not starving. We are telling keep right motivation and enjoy. Then you get right result also. That is the point. Hope it is clear. Any questions, comments on it? Good. Prabhupada, a beautiful man, oh beautiful man, when you strike the bouncing ball against the ground with your hands and again your lotus feet do not stay in one place. Opposed by the weight of your full grown best, your base becomes fatigued and your clear vision grows dull as it were. Pray bird, your homely hair. The demons absorb beautiful gestures in the woman's every step. Here, they praise her full grown base, her scattered hair, and her movements in stepping forward and backward while playing with the ball. In every step, they enjoy her womanly beauty, and while they enjoy her beauty, their minds become agitated by sex desire. As moths are at night surrounded by fire and are killed, so the demons become victims of the movements of the ball, like breasts of a beautiful woman. Scattered hair of a beautiful woman also affects the heart of a lusty demon. Now, here the point here is the sports which Prabhupada said the Prabhupada is not encouraging much sports for women. Uh, Now, it was actually one thing is very good that happened is the social media did not come when Prabhupada was preaching. That is actually a very good thing that happened. Because Prabhupada makes such statements so blunt that Prabhupada will become controversial overnight. Prabhupada statement, if you see the Prabhupada in that just two purports behind, he's telling the sports and all they are keeping for women just to see the body of women. And here also Prabhupada is telling. So now people are so much into all these things, and it is good that Prabhupada came early before the social media. I was thinking previously, Arey, Prabhupada would have come when there was social media, he would have made we work very hard and make his reels and make him more and more popular. But later on, when we see so many statements of Prabhupada like that, then it is good that Prabhupada didn't come. Because he could not, in 2, 3 days only, they'll make so many controversies that Prabhupada cannot speak only. But Krishna knows when to send Prabhupada. So he sent exact before there is camera, you have videos of Prabhupada, you have printing, you have some sort of television, some basic things were there when Prabhupada came. And with that Prabhupada, it was helpful for our preaching. That much is needed. But social media, no, no. Now also some devotees they make some statements and then it becomes really very difficult. Yeah, Shyamakant was telling purports are very heavy about politics. Yeah, so many things. Prabhupada says democracy is demon crazy. So Prabhupada's statements, and here he is not encouraging women playing sports and other things. So it's quite, of course, Prabhupada is very liberal in personal level. He's very liberal, but when it comes to writing some things, he's very blunt and straight. Any questions, comments? We'll end here. Thank you all very much. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.